Well, hello again, slot car fans. This is the third video in my series of Braid Runners mongrels, or cars that I've built over the years. They're all a little bit different, so I'll focus in on different aspects of different cars. And if you can reuse any of this information for yourself, then that's all well and good. That's exactly what it's for. So I've called this episode White Kits, and there are 3 or 4 manufacturers who produce white kit versions of their models. So we're talking Slotted, NSR, Revo, ScaleAuto predominantly, and they produce what we call a white kit. Now, so what is a white kit? So a white kit is basically an unpainted car. So the manufacturers come out with these beautiful cars that are painted. So this is the Slotted Aston Martin Lola. This is a race car, which is why it has got its rear wheels in place. But you can see the paint job's beautiful. Really is, and this is how the car raced back in the early 2000s. Beautiful car, beautiful paint job, beautiful model. Yeah, really nice job by Slotted on this one. They do what we call a white kit, and you can buy this car with an unpainted body. So this is actually a body kit. This isn't a full car kit, this one. This is just a body kit, but it is the same car, as you can see. Okay, and then you have the choice to paint the white kit in whatever color scheme you want, and then take the body off this one and put your painted body on top of the chassis and go racing with your car. So I've used this technique a lot because I do enjoy painting, and I do enjoy putting decals down and creating something that is of my design, or reproducing a car that doesn't exist in the model world. So a real car that doesn't exist in the model world. So for instance, there might be a Jaguar Group C car that you like that did actually race with a particular livery, but the model manufacturers don't actually do that car, and therefore you've got to do it yourself. To me, that is just the best challenge ever, and I love doing those paint jobs. But you might want to do something simpler. You might want to do a paint job that is just simply of your design. So let's have a look at one of the first ones I ever did using this technique. So what you see here is a Slotted Lancia Group C, and this is a white kit. So when I bought it, it was unpainted. It was raw, naked plastic, and all I did was clean it, put these decals down, all these decals that you see, all the coloration on this. Anything coloured is a decal that I've put down. So all the red and green and black is all me. And once I'm happy with it, I cover it with clear coat to protect it. And then I add all the ancillary parts like the windscreen, the aerial, the rear wing, the tail lights, the headlight covers, radiator if there's one required, etc. And that's it. It's a 4-step process. And then you put it on your car, and then you run it in your design, in your way. So this particular car, the Lancia, did run with an Alitalia paint scheme from time to time. Not very often, I don't think, but it did run with one. Not like this. I wanted to go a bit mad, so as you can see, that's exactly what I did, and I put a lot of red and green down using a lot of Alitalia inspired cues. So this you see here appears on the tail of a lot of Alitalia airliners, and I've reused it here and here, and I've used little triangles here to try and keep the paint scheme theme moving throughout the car. All my design. I got a lot of joy out of putting this together, but it's a really simple process. White kit, decals, clear coat, ancillaries, done. Okay, so that's the first one. Second one is another car where the underlying colour is white, so it lends itself to it really nicely. Martini, a very popular livery, very popular livery. So I've used it on this Marcos, and it's so simple. It's just a single stripe going down the middle of the car. This car looks great circulating around the track. I mean, it's not a particularly good paint job. I'm not going to pretend it's so great, but circulating around the track, it's awesome. It looks great. It looks just like a race car. I've picked up some decals from old projects where I didn't use everything, so I've just picked those up and stuck them on the car. You know, they're all race inspired. They're all, you know, race sponsors. The names are all very, you know, recognisable for their connection with racing. Just gives a bit of credibility to the paint job, really. You know, whether it's Hugo Boss, whether it's ExxonMobil, you know. Yeah, same technique. White kit, decals, clear coat, ancillaries. Go. Yeah. You can. Both of these paint jobs were done in under a day. The Alitalia one was a little bit more difficult, lots of complex shapes there. The Marcos, really easy. Just lay down a stripe and then move everything else around it. Get the race numbers down. You want the race numbers in place, obviously. Everything else, just fit it in between. It's really so easy. This is slightly different. Again, Martini, but this is a 1/27th scale. This is a Kyosho Mini Z body, which would run in a hard body series with a metal chassis underneath. I've put the Mini Z back underneath, but this car would have raced with a Plarfit metal chassis underneath it, and you know, A, it's ballistically fast, and 2, it looks awesome going around the track. Such a simple paint job, or sorry, such a simple colour scheme, I should say. Single stripe down the line, centre line of the car, and then I particularly wanted to get some Martini stripe that would go into the contours defined by the door and the rear 3/4 here. So I wanted the stripe to disappear into this air vent, and I wanted it to come out from this aero device that you see here on the McLaren. So I wanted to do that because I just thought that then it looks like somebody's actually thought about it, and that the three-dimensional aspects of it really, you know, do work. Circulating around the track, this thing was you know, it looked awesome. It looked really good. One of the nicest cars out there, and such a simple colour scheme. So simple, and the process is identical. White kit, decals, clear coat, ancillaries. Yeah, really easy. And the last one for this particular topic is a car that I put together just over 12 months ago. But again, the process is exactly the same. I've tried to fit the decals to the contours of the car as much as I can, yeah, because then the eye then appreciates it more, I think. But there's no real paint on this car. There is a little bit. I'll show you in a second. Or I'll show you now, actually. The wing end plates are painted black, just a color code with the little bit of black stripes that you see on the lower edge of the bodywork there. I just wanted to do that just to give a bit of contour to the shape of the side of the car. The wing mirrors obviously are color coded, and the tow hook as well is color coded, and the headlight covers. Okay, not all endurance races were held at night, some were held in the day, and in those instances sometimes the cars ran without headlights, they ran with just these covers. But the technique is the same. This one I've gone a little bit mad with. I've put some carbon on the inside on the cockpit, and I've, you know, taken the Martini stripe inside the glass, so, as you can see. So yeah, I've gone a bit mad with this one. But again, you know, some race inspired names on the secondary sponsorship just adds a bit of credibility to the color scheme. Yeah, but that is just basically a Martini paint job. Again, white is the base. You know, white is the base. That's the important thing with this one. White is the base. Okay, so that's a more recent one. I say white is the base. NSR do some cars with a single color paint job on them, and this is one. This is obviously the Can-Am Porsche, the 91730, and this car came out of the box with just a silver body, no decals, no markings at all, and I've just put down some decals myself. You know, it's Tag Heuer inspired, basically. You know, I like the Tag Heuer logo and the way it sits on a lot of cars. So I've just dug up some decals. I've made some of my own. You know, the watch face is one I've made myself. Again, the process is the same. You know, the simple body, decals, clear coat, ancillaries. Go. Yeah. So same technique. NSR do a lot of cars with just one single base color. With no stickers, no decals or anything, so they're particularly good. So that's another one. But white kits in general, this is a great technique. There are some drawbacks. You're not going to get the quality of finish that you get with a painted car. So let's have a look at that in a bit more detail. Why would that be the case? Well, one is discoloration. You can see the discoloration in this car. This car is about 6-7 years old. maybe more actually, maybe 8 years old, and there's a bit of discoloration. And why is that? Well, we handle our race cars, don't we? We change tires, we take the body off. We might be looking at something, we might be marshalling the car, but we handle them. They get a lot of handling, and the oils and the contamination on your hands are going to sit on the car if you don't clean it off. The other one is quality of products. This particular one was one of my first attempts. I don't think I used a particularly good clear coat, so it didn't get a lot of protection. So you will get discoloration. And another one is styrene, which is the plastic which is used in these injection molded bodies, is not particularly good at resisting UV. Okay, UV will degrade this material. There's no getting around it except painting. Paints do have a degree of UV protection in them. The paint manufacturers put UV protection in because obviously, painted surfaces are going to sit outside in the sunlight from time to time, and they mustn't degrade. So yeah, paints carry some UV protection, which the raw styrene plastic doesn't. Okay, so that's an example of discoloration. Contrast that with a car that I built last year, and it's night and day, as you can see. Now this one uses a higher quality clear coat, so after each race that I run this one, I actually wipe it down just with water, or if I feel like there's a particularly stubborn stain, maybe isopropyl alcohol, maybe. Yeah, so but you can see that the color is a more brilliant white than the discolored one. Okay, so yeah, there is an age difference, but equally this one uses slightly better products. Okay, now I mentioned that for the ultimate you need to use paint. This video isn't about paint. This video is about using naked white kits with decals to get a reasonable 90% result. Okay, so of the ones that I've just shown you, this one I think is the best, but even this one doesn't hold a candle to a painted body. So this one I put together last year, this one I put together this year. So there's 12 months difference between these two. But this one has got the additional step taken of adding paint. So this one is white kit body, decals, clear coats and ancillaries. This one is white kit body, undercoat, white paint, decals, clear coat, ancillaries. Okay, so just those two additional steps gives a much deeper, a much more attractive looking white. Yeah, as you can see. Yeah, this one looks positively washed out now in comparison to this one. Yeah, so yeah, quite a big difference. But like I say, we're not talking about painting, but I'm just trying to highlight the fact that you will not get 100% result without painting. You won't get it. Okay, the quality of the surface of the molded body is what it is. It comes out of the mold the way that it does, and there's not a lot you can do about that. There's no point sanding it because it is as good as it's going to get. So yeah, if you want a better result, undercoat and white paint. Okay, but if you're into that, then you're into different colors, and you've got a much broader playing field when you start looking at paint. So there you go, that's white kits. A very quick and easy way of getting a 90% result for a race car. I wouldn't say that you're going to win a concourse with it, but you're going to get a good result. Like I say, you get a 90% result, and to the untrained eye, it's a pretty good result. I've always been happy with the ones I've got for race cars. Yeah, if I was doing concourse, I'd be using paint. But there you go. That's the technique. It works for me. If you can make it work for you, brilliant, brilliant. Okay, last thing is the subject of a cookie, and I'm not going to go down the racing track. I'm not going to go to even a car-inspired film. I'm going to go to a conspiracy-inspired film. So the film is JFK by Oliver Stone, with Kevin Costner and a whole host of other stars, and it just deals with basically the questions around the idea of a conspiracy around the assassination of John F. Kennedy back in the 60s. A really interesting subject matter, and the film deals with it really nicely. It doesn't answer any questions. I think it would be too hard. So it doesn't answer any questions, I'll warn you of that now, but it does ask a lot of questions, and the film deals with the asking of those questions. And there's some interesting characters in there, and it's a really good watch. It's a little bit long, but it's in many ways I think it's all the better for it. It's a very good film. So have a watch of that one, enjoy, and please just think about doing something nice for somebody today. Okay, I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, bye.